The original 1984 Macintosh can draw a straight line to the iMac as Apple's first all-in-one for consumers. So, can we bring this one into the modern age? We're going to have to go full Miani. Want the latest Apple news, leaks and rumours? Subscribe and ring the bell. I adore vintage Macs. I only came to Apple in 2010 after the iPhone 4 was released.
Stop me if you've already seen this.
While it was incredibly hard to lay your hands on at the time, I randomly found a local phone store that had one in stock and went with it on a whim. Later that year, I moved overseas working in Dubai for a year, and when I got back, I bought my first Mac. It was the 2011 11-inch MacBook Air, and I still have it 11 years later. But having a slightly obsessive personality as I do, I really threw myself into the history of Apple, started collecting some of the older models that I found at car boot sales, which is basically the UK's answer to garage sales.
Please God, find something.
He doesn't look happy.
Ice cold.
And from eBay and other places, and built a bit of a collection going back to the G3s. Then a couple of years ago I found this, the Macintosh Classic 2 on Facebook for basically no money and just around the corner from my house. Now it had no keyboard, no mouse, and it's not working as far as we know, but it hails back to that original 1984 Macintosh in terms of design. Now this thing packs a 16MHz Motorola 68030 processor with 2MB of RAM and a 9-inch monochrome display. I've always been impressed with how even like the older 350MHz G3 PowerMacs, which I bought for £10 from a car boot sale, felt really snappy when I sort of bought it and hooked it up to an old display. But while the Macintosh Classic is a beautiful, beautiful piece of history, it's annoying that it's basically non-functional at this point. But what if it could be usable again? Keeping its awesome retro look and making it truly functional, the core of my home network. What would that take? Since I bought the M2 MacBook Air when it came out at WWDC this year, my Mac Mini M1 desktop has become a lot less busy. But what if that could become the heart of a brand new all-in-one? So what would we need to make this actually functional? A Retina display wouldn't go amiss, modern peripherals that look the part, and an M1 at the heart of it, so lots of local storage, networking, so that the files can be accessed over the home network, all over the place, Apple TV, etc., and maybe even more. Now, a sub 10-inch Retina display is actually relatively simple, as I have a 4th generation iPad with the Retina display, which is basically obsolete at this point. Now, this is going way back to the 30-pin connectors, but the display itself is in really good shape. The M1 Mac Mini will actually fit inside the Macintosh casing with bags of room to spare as long as we take out all of the old gubbins that was in there, and we can also fill some of that extra space with external storage that's currently all over my desk. And hopefully that will mean that the cable mess on the desk becomes less on the desk and more inside, and that's good by me. Oh, and audio would be really good as well, because the internal speaker in the Mac Mini is very much designed more for accessibility than for listening pleasure. It's basically there for when you set it up so that you can use Siri and that sort of thing if you have visual impairment. As this is going to be a desktop, we can look at this being an external sound system, and I have a few options in mind. But most importantly, I'd like to change it externally as little as possible. I'd like to be able to use the original power switch if I can, as well as being able to use the external display if I need to. So let's get to work. The first step is going to be tearing this thing down. So this is kind of the scary bit of this whole process. So I've basically, this is my discharging the CRT tool. It's very technical. And here we go. We've removed the 4 screws which have the T15 Torx bolts in them. The T15 is kind of known as the Mac cracker, apparently, in these circles. And here we go. So the risk with this is that this part up here might still have high voltage in it, even though this thing's been unplugged for years. I don't assume that there is going to be any issues. However, we're not going to take any chances. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this end, screw this down, and basically earth. Please don't take this as a tutorial, by the way. So we're earthing the bottom end of my tool, and this end basically gets pushed under here, and this is the scary part. Seems like we didn't have any voltage in there, so that's great. So we do of course still have some mighty big capacitors on this thing, so I don't want to be touching any of that, but we're going to go ahead and dismantle the rest of this.
There you are.
Hello.
What are you doing?
I'm taking this apart.
Why?
Because I'm going to put a different computer inside it. One thing I am noticing though is that this is not dirty on the inside. I would say this had very, very light use, or it was at least kept in a very clean environment. I mean, look, this is the fan. Almost no lint on there, no dust really, given the age of this thing. So far, I don't think we've actually damaged anything in a way that we couldn't put it back together. Move. Wow. And there we have it. We actually have our whole frame dismantled. We only lost one screw. Two, three. Ooh, down the back. 4. Quite a cavernous space that we've got to play with. I'm excited. Okay, I've got to say, I've just dismantled the Macintosh Classic, and this thing was immaculate. I mean, I haven't actually done any kind of cleaning of this stuff as it's come out. The only thing with any real remnants of dirt on it is the fan, which is what you would expect, I guess, but there was no like dust bunnies on stuff. It's crazy how clean this thing was. And this was our main board, the logic board. I've done no cleaning on this. This thing looks like it's just come out of the factory. It's crazy. And also I find it really cool that it has the kind of angled RAM DIMMs on it. That's it's quite fun. But look how clean. Now, here's what's different between this and most of the videos that you've seen where people are trying to put some sort of modern computer into an old computer. It is currently 12:10 on Monday, the 14th of November. I'm going to put this video out today. I'm not done. This is how the computer looks now. It is just the empty box that you've just seen in that video. Because I'm doing this in real time, I'm not getting to the end of a project and then deciding that I should put this video out as a, look, I made it, with artificial stakes. This is real. I don't know if this is going to work, but if you follow along, subscribe to iCab Dave, you'll see in real time if it does. And that's got to be fun, right? Thanks to the Patreons for making this thing that I can do, and I'll see you in the next one. Want the latest Apple news, leaks and rumours? Subscribe and ring the bell.